Good morning, guys. This is Nina with Get Right Nina. Sorry, I'm just putting the timer on so I can stick with my time. I just wanted to record a message for you guys and encourage you on the importance of boosting your confidence and your identity, the self worth that you have if you're going to really boost your business. And what led me to make this video was I try to do a devotional every morning because during the day I read a lot. I read a lot so that as I practice what I do and as I practice what I preach, I'm feeling that information that I'm pouring back into myself. And so, because of that, I try not to put man's information before I put God's because, one, if I don't have that filter, how will I know? How will I know that the information that I get in is accurate and it's aligning with my values? And the reality is, as much as the world is on its own wavelength, I'm still true to my faith. That's important to me. And so this morning I was reading "Fervent" by Priscilla Shears. I don't know if you can see this, and I don't know if you know who she is, but Pastor Tony Evans is her father. And she played the leading role in War Room. And so I was getting this because I wanted to take my prayer life to another level so that I can encourage the people who I'm helping and so that I'm living it and that I'm interceding for others. Because sometimes in our life we can have so much going on that we can constantly pray for ourselves, being a little selfish, not realizing it. And so that was building my prayer life was important so that I can learn how to not just pray for me and position myself, but to consider the people who I'm called to touch and to minister and to love on. And so there was a part of the book when she's talking about praying for your identity, knowing who you are, and it just made me. I created this column, this sheet. I don't know if you can see it. It's on an envelope. You probably can't really see it because I'm kind of glad you can't see it, to be honest with you, because it's kind of crazy. But I created this column, and on it I have messages from, the enemy, evil forces, whatever you believe. And then I have messages from me. And then looking at them, I see that they were the same messages, unfortunately. Messages that I allowed to be put into my mind and my head, messages that I've received over the years between being rejected from employers, being rejected from the men in my life, whether it's my father, a man that I was in love with, girlfriend who fell out with me. Those things can really take root and really hit a hard blow to how you feel about yourself. And that gets in the way of your ability to function and believe in who you are and who you're destined to be. And in order for you to effectively serve other people, you have to be confident and know that you're bringing them the best value. And you can't do that if you feel low about yourself. So, some of the things that you really, really want to do is one, pray. If you've been through people rejecting you, if you've been through, being overlooked for promotions, even though you've done your best, if you knew that you did everything you can to please a person or to court a person or to love on a person, and because they are not where they want to be, they've kind of made you feel a little insecure about that, take your power back. Sometimes other people, they don't mean to do us harm, but they're broken themselves. That's just keeping it 100. Broke people break people, or broken people break people. Hurt people hurt people, and we're all human. And I can attest to times when I've been in a bad spot and I didn't mean any harm, and somebody come up to me, "Hey, Sister Nina," or "Hey, Nina," or "That was awesome what you wrote on Facebook," or just whatever they say, and I'm like, bah. It's not because I don't love them. It's because at that moment I'm not in that space of let me embrace you, let me hug you, and if they internalize that, they'll equate that to, ooh, what's wrong with me? And so when we go through rejection in life, when we go through things that constantly hamper in on our ability to believe in ourselves, it gets in the way of our bottom line, because it gets in the way of, we're always constantly thinking how a person is perceiving us. It gets in the way of our ability to be innovative, to be creative, and to kind of have, be honest with you, be directive, to be able to have a goal and to stay focused, because you're constantly putting out fires and fighting those mental things and those blocks of things. And so definitely prayer. And then definitely seeing what God says about you. Seeing how He views you, and then being around people who celebrate you and hearing what they say about you. If there are things that you need to work on, whether it's like me, I'm a loner. I love people, which is so weird to me. I love people. Like, it's crazy. I've even had people actually judgmental towards me and critical towards me because of it. Because they say, oh, nobody's that nice. Or, there's nobody like that in the world no more. And it's because they've been scarred. They've been damaged, and those people never made amends with them. So their ability to trust, their guard is up. So they don't believe, that somebody could love them or someone can care about them. And so you have to be around people who actually believe and support you, so that you can start to have those messages programmed. Another thing is journal. That, honestly, I've had people, like I had one lady write to me. She told me about my blog post and how it blessed her. And to me, my blog, I'm a noob. I'm not a noob in writing or my business, because I've been doing it for years. But I'm a noob in the sense of how technology and social media has made us being able to present ourselves out. I'm a noob in that aspect. So to get that comment, that was like everything for me. So you have to do those things so that you can constantly program those messages. And then another thing I did was, as I read and I pick out little nuggets, I'll paraphrase what I read and create an affirmation for me. Okay, like, say for example, I read a scripture, or let's say I read something from Zig Ziglar, and it says something like, successful think differently. I'll make an affirmation and I'll say, because I receive the promise of God, I will have a successful a day today. Because God has already made me His image and His likeness, I will be fruitful and I multiply. Increase is a part of my inheritance. Or I'll say, because like I read that in Zig Ziglar, or listen to Les Brown or somebody, I'll say, because I network effectively, friendships are evolving in my life. They're thriving in my life. So I'll speak those things, because honestly, if you don't, depression, anxiety, fear, discouragement, insecurity, those things will leak and wreak havoc in your ability to profit. Because now, prime example, there are so many things that God gives me, right? But sometimes I'm doing this. He's like giving me something, and I'm doing this. He's giving me something, and I'm doing this, because I have years of having to reprogram all the stuff. I'm gonna be very transparent and naked with you guys, and I hope you don't hate on your girl for it, and don't be like, oh my gosh, I don't want to follow somebody like that. I'm hoping that me being transparent will help you to be confident in your ability to relate. But okay, one of the messages that I've always said to myself: you're too fat. You're not attractive. For years, I've heard people say, girl, you got such a pretty face. And you're like, okay, well, what is wrong with the rest of my body? I'm just fluffy. But when you hear it enough, you start to equate, maybe something is wrong with my body. People always tell me I got a pretty face. What the heck is wrong with my body? So you start to hear those messages. Another one is, I struggle for so long with being disorganized, because in my mind I see something, but the analytical part of it may be like, okay, blah, 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 blah. God has blessed me tremendously now. Now I can't even stand to go to bed with the dishes in the sink because of those things, reprogramming myself. But even still, I'll say, I'm just a screw up. I can't get any of these things right. How can you be successful like that? So use journaling, use affirmations, use people who celebrate you, use books that teach you who you really are. Reflect on who God says you really are. Go by those things. Let those things seep into you. Value it. We in America, unfortunately deem value um, in a certain way. I had to stop that because I don't want it to ding in your ear like the other alarm did. The good and the bad is this. The reality is the marketplace determines the value to an extent. But if we allow that to be our navigational panel, if we allow that to be our compass, we'll never find a unique way at positioning our true value. And therefore, we will discredit any value we have and we'll believe we don't have any value to offer. And if you believe that you don't have any value to offer, how can you offer value? And if you can't offer value, how can you exchange and get money? And if you can't get money, how can you increase and manage and take care of the loves of your life? So, do you see how that's all correlated? So, I beseech ye, right? I'm getting deep with it. Do everything you can to protect your confidence. Do everything you can to protect how you feel about you. Do everything you can to be around people who love you and believe in you and who celebrate you. Anybody else? Bye, Felicia. Deuces. All right, guys, that's my time. This is Nina with Get Right Nina. I'll see you next Tuesday or next Wednesday.